Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to the Lions Den, and of course, we are the official source of UCCS Sports. We're going to talk some basketball here for just a few minutes because we had the final regular season games this past Friday here right behind us at the Gallagly Event Center, and what was a phenomenal night of basketball. I got to tell you, I don't think Hollywood could have written a better script for the way that the men's game went down, and that's not to take away anything from the women who also won that night, but let me just put things in perspective for you for just a second. So before last season, the Mountain Lions had never even beaten MSU Denver. So MSU Denver comes into town, and the Mountain Lions get the victory in a very highly contested matchup. They only won by 2 points. 94-92 was the final score. On that night, Alex Welsh breaks the all-time scoring record against MSU Denver on senior night, the last game ever at the Gallagly Event Center for him, while the person's record who he broke, his best friend, was live in attendance. There you have the record right there. Alex Welsh surpassing Derek White, who, as I mentioned, was in attendance, and those two guys are best friends. And so I gotta ask you guys, I mean, could you fathom something like that happening? You talk about the beginning of the season, just the potential for Welsh to break that record, it was there, but to break it on his final game at home against the rival MSU Denver in a close matchup with the person whose record he broke in attendance. I mean, you can't write a better script than that.
You know, it's kind of funny. So I was up here watching the game with Spencer and Josh. They were doing game film, and Alex Welsh's dad was right there. And I was counting it down because he was at, I believe, he needed 22. He was at
to start the night. Yep.
He was at around 15. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching his dad, and he's just waiting for it. And then he gets to the free throw line. It's like, okay, he can get it here. He misses the free throw, and I'm sitting here like, okay, we're still good. He gets the dunk accordingly. Alex Welsh, in my 2 years here, has been one of the most dominant players that I've seen as a Mountain Lion. Last year with just seeing him not even play second fiddle, just being that second scoring option other than Derek White. He has been a phenomenal player for the Mountain Lions, and him getting that record, like you said, Derek White in attendance, and it was just a fun night. And that game went down to the wire. It was so much fun to watch. He did throw a crucial turnover at the end, but Kendall Godley slowed it down, got to the free throw line, got us up by 2. It was such a fun game to watch.
Well, and the basket he broke the record on was a monster dunk, which helped propel the Mountain Lions to victory in terms of building the momentum and carrying that into the final few minutes. Now, Sauce, you were a teammate of Alex Welsh. You were on the team a few seasons ago, so you know Alex pretty well. I mean, how cool was that for you to watch a good friend of yours break those records on such a monumental night?
Well, first, I want to touch base on what you said, MJ. That game was so close, and the fact that beating Metro is it's a common thing now, and it's the fact that UCCS actually has a fighting chance now, and that it's not going to be a blowout anymore with MSU Denver. And the fact is that Mountain Lions did get the win. And as far as Alex Welsh, playing with the guy, knowing him as a good friend, broadcasting his games, obviously they didn't win. They're out of the playoffs now, so it wasn't a storybook night. But as far as his career go, it's a storybook finish. He gets a ring, he gets the all-time title, and I think you talk about dominance, Charlie. Derek White was the most dominant player I've ever seen in Division II basketball as of last year. The Alex Welsh of this year, I would put him up in that same conversation because of what he did. That record, like you see right there, 1947, we didn't even think that was going to be possible.
That's going to take so long for
we didn't think it was possible. And then he has a 41, and give it to that Lions Den bump, MJ.
That's right. I mean, we don't want to take credit, but we'll go ahead and take credit. 41 points, that's no easy feat, but he finished the season so strong because he knew that record was in sight, and so you see right there, not only the points leader in UCCS history, but the rebound leader.
Right.
I mean, where else can you go and find a guy that's going to be in the record books for points scored and rebounds collected?
And that's just the thing.
Unbelievable.
He got smarter as the year went on. I don't know if you were crunching stats for those couple Comcast games, but he was taking better shots, and not only was his average going up on both categories, but he was getting better percentages.
The proficiency was going up as
and
well.
And you could see that in the shots he took, and he let the game come to him. That's a huge thing.
Like you said, those first couple of games, of the season when they went to California, you went there too.
That was a tough road trip.
We talked about that. We talked about how him and Kendall really were like, okay, there's no Derek White here. We got to step up.
Right.
And accordingly, they stepped up in the offensive side. And then as the season went on, they realized, we got to step up everywhere else. Because, Derek White, he really did everything. He blocked, he rebounded, He pushed it. And that's what Alex and Kendall really started to do. You know, towards that end, Kendall became one of the most dominant scoring threats for the Mountain Lions. He became second, third option because all he would do is take it to the basket. And, you know, we got a couple of nasty dunks on those, but, you know, that's what I love to see was Kendall and Welsh really. And, you know, Welsh just being Welsh, but,
yeah.
you know, both of those guys really stepped up and played well. And, you know, yes, losing to MSU Denver hurts being at MSU Denver, but really, you know, they did get the ring. They didn't go out on that high note, but you know what? They had a great career as a Mountain Lion.
Well, how about their last game here? You're talking about two seniors, and let's throw Dalton Patton also in the mix, who surpassed 1,000 points on Friday night. So you talk about Friday night just being the culmination of an entire season. There you see Dalton Patton now sitting firmly in 10th place in the record books. Kendall Godley with 1 second left in regulation at the free throw line. You talk about a pressure cooker situation. He knocks down 2 free throws with a second remaining to ice the game and solidify the win against MSU Denver. The 3 seniors stepped up big on senior night. And what else can you expect from your senior class getting ready to graduate?
And then exactly, Kendall Godley coming into the game, he had 165 attempts from the free throw line, and the guy shoots it at a 66 or 76% clip.
Which that's not great.
Which, I mean, it's not bad for Kendall.
It's not bad, but it's not great.
Exactly, but a guy who shoots that many. You know, they were talking about this on, I think it was SportsCenter the other night, and the fact that who would you rather have? Obviously, you want a good free throw shooter, but a guy who's been there multiple times down the stretch, hits them both, so say what you want about clutch. That guy is pretty pure.
And, you know, another thing about that game, which I saw the emergence of Jay Crawford. You know, he got put on the senior, number 3. Dobson, isn't it?
Tony Dobinson.
Tony Dobinson.
Might want to remember that name.
Tony Dobinson, yes.
He's going to be in overseas.
Yeah, that was a tough match.
He only had a 30-piece.
Only, that's it.
That's what Jay Crawford does, though. You know what? A lot of towards hustle. That end, you know, he got a I was watching the game actually today. He got this big charge on Dobinson.
You're a little late if you just watched it today.
You know, I had to watch it again. I was too excited.
Okay.
But you know what? He got a late charge on Dobinson in that second quarter, or second half actually. Sorry. And you know, Jay Crawford, his defense really stepped up that night. You know, Elijah Ross had a tough game, but you know, head coach Jeff Culver trusted Crawford in that last couple of minutes. Fouled out, unfortunately, and he put Brandon Malone in. And, you know, Malone has been crazy this year too. But, you know, Jay Crawford had a great game against MSU Denver. And that's what he does. And, you know, I expect more to see from Jay Crawford.
And you'll see that in Sauce's spin. I mean, I talk about how Tony Dobinson did go on that 8-0 run, and that was video game mode.
He torched us for a few minutes.
And that's the crazy thing is that, you know, even that one and the last match they had Tuesday in the quarterfinal, 2 unranked teams in the NABC polls that one of them was going home that night. And that's the craziest thing about it.
So let's talk a little bit about the playoff matchup. The men's game, tough loss, 82-77 was the final score. It just looked like they were a step behind nearly the entire game. They made some runs. They kept it close. They kept it interesting. They were in position to win the game or at least make a run towards the end. Right. They just couldn't quite get over the hump there at the Auraria Event Center there at MSU Denver. You were calling the game live, Sauce. Can you talk us through the experience there? What did you see? What did you witness? Why weren't they able to go back-to-back? They just won on Friday. Why couldn't they get the win last night on Tuesday night in the quarterfinal matchup?
Both teams are second-half teams. Mountain Lions, 136 more points in the second half. MSU Denver, 222 more in the second half. So you got to battle of 2 second-half teams, and it was just a thing where the Mountain Lions needed to just stick around, weather the storm until halftime, and they looked a little gassed. And whenever you try to beat Metro, let alone 2 times in less than a week, it's always going to be a tough task. And when you have Dobinson go on this 10-0, he had the first 10 of the 12 points. And so when he starts off that hot, surprised we didn't see Jay Crawford or a little bit earlier when he did go on that run, but did trust Elijah Ross. He did come in a little more offensive oriented, but Mountain Lions, they just couldn't answer back. And I think once they dug themselves that lead early in the game, it was catch up and it was going against their crowd. So a tough outing there.
Yeah, a real tough breakdown and tough finish for the Mountain Lions. Their season has officially come to an end, but our hats way off to the Mountain Lions this season. They were in contention to repeat as RMAC champions. Didn't turn out that way, but a great season, a lot of records broken, and a lot of fun to watch all season long. So we congratulate the men's basketball team here at UCCS, the Men Mountain Lions. We're going to talk a little bit more about basketball when we come back from break, because we're going to talk women's basketball, because they won on Friday night, and they also won last night, which means they're heading to the semifinal matchup of the 2016 RMAC tournament. That's going to be this upcoming Friday. We're going to break that down when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.